Hey guys, Miss Warren here. This is the last video for this practice session on shading in colored pencil. Last time we looked on how to shade a curved surface. Now we're gonna look at a slightly more complex surface. For this particular technique, you're gonna need 4 colored pencils. You're going to need a black and a white for your deepest shadows and your lightest highlights. And you're going to need a medium color and a dark color. In the example, Miss Cooper used a dark purple or a medium violet and a dark purple. I'm going to go ahead and go with some neutral colors. This shading technique is really useful for hair and skin as well if you wanted to draw people. So I wanted to show y'all kind of what some neutral tones. You could even do like a dirt road or something with this early on, just kind of practical application. So I wanted you to see that this would work with neutral colors as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my medium colored pencil to draw the general shape. If you think you're going to need a few tries to draw this more complex shape, go ahead and use a regular pencil. Draw it light till you get it right, and erase as needed. So the way I'm going to draw this shape is I'm going to do a slanted line, and then I'm going to go up, and then I'm going to scoop, and then I'm going to draw another very light slanted line. Then I'm going to connect the other side. I'm going to go up, trying to keep mostly the same distance all the way up. And then I'm going to scoop to the other slanted line there, because this is where the curve changes and that ends. Then I'm going to go diagonally down and then curl back up. I'm going to make a diagonal line here and a little curve here, and a diagonal line that's parallel there for the little top curl right there. This isn't going to be 100% the same, but it will be very similar. I'm going to draw a little line underneath, because this is like where it twists from here to here, and draw a very soft diagonal line there. And then I'm going to curve this up and hide it behind that top ribbon. So this is a more complex kind of twisted shape. Mine doesn't look exactly like that one, but it will serve the purpose for the shading. Now, in this situation, the light is coming from the top and the side, so it's going to hit the tallest, highest surfaces and the surfaces that are pointed up. If the surfaces are not exactly pointed up, you're gonna have a little bit of shadow, and if it's hidden from the sky, then it's gonna have a deep shadow. So now we're gonna go, and now that we've defined the light source as being coming from the top, we're gonna start using the medium violet to lightly shade the top side of the rhythm, the side that faces the top. Now this underside is gonna be pretty dark, so I'm gonna reserve that for the darker color. So I'm gonna take my medium color and I'm gonna color in the majority of the surface. Remember, when you color in something, you need to kind of go with the curve of the surface, and you need to scrumble, like small circular motions, not big lines, making sure your surface is nice and smooth. So just kind of a light layer all over with your medium color. Kind of on this first layer, focus on getting everything nice and smooth and just covered with a base coat. Making sure I kind of go with the direction of, this is kind of like a ribbon, the direction of the ribbon. getting mostly all the sides that will face up, leaving any sides that are blocked. So this here blocks this from facing exactly up. So I'm going to kind of fade out with this color. And this side is entirely blocked from facing up by that front side. But this side, this little edge, this little lip here, faces up. Okay. So now that's like the first step, putting every surface that faces up colored mostly with your medium color. Now I'm going to use my darker color for any area that is hidden or facing down. So this area is hidden from the top. So I'm going to color it in with my darker shade or my darker value of brown. This area here is a little bit hidden too because of this curve. And there's some areas where you're going to kind of blend a little bit of the dark brown and the light brown together. You can start using the shadow a little bit. So I'm going to, like this area here, I'm going to fade out with this darker brown into that lighter brown. You might even get just a tiny bit of this darker brown here because this little edge is not exactly facing right up. So I'm going to blend a little bit of this darker brown into it. And this area on the edge here is starting to go down, but it's not down all the way. Now I'm going to take my lighter brown and I'm going to kind of blend the edges where it kind of fades from one color to another, just a little bit more. Kind of go over any area where it's blended the two colors, especially like here where it's not going to be outright one shade or another. Okay. You can put a little bit of the lighter color in the bottom if you want to just blend it in, but this color down here needs to be primarily the dark brown for that shadow. Okay, so the next step will be to use the white pencil for the highlights. So I'm going to take my white pencil and I'm going to go to the parts that arch the highest towards our light source. Remember, our light source is coming from above. So anywhere that's facing up, the part that's the highest point of the part that faces up, we're going to go over and blend in with some white. You can press pretty firmly with the white, but still continue to do kind of like a loop motion and go with the curve of the ribbon. I think I'm going to go through and I'm going to put a little bit more of the medium brown in, especially around the edges and stuff and such. Just kind of building and layering till you get that more solid color. To shade with colored pencil just takes a little bit of time to make it nice. Be patient with yourself. Make sure you're making small marks. You're going in the same direction. If it doesn't look smooth, go over it again and smooth it out. I'm gonna press a little harder in my shadowed areas with this darker brown. Go back with my white. I'm going to blend it a little bit more. The edges of the lightest part. Really smoothing it out and working that color into the paper. Making sure the pigment fills the little texture or tooth of the paper. Okay, now it's time for my deepest, darkest shadows. I'm going to work a little bit of black into my darkest shadows. Black is a really strong color. Sometimes I choose not to use it at all. Like if I was doing a medium skin tone, I would probably go with a darker brown before I would go with a black. If I was just doing a tan skin tone. You really want to use black sparingly. It's a dark color and it takes over everything really quickly. I'm going to blend the black and the brown together a little bit with this lighter brown, kind of make it a smoother transition. Put a little bit of this darker brown here where there's like a mild shadow, but it's not intense enough to need a black. Really making the highlights stand out. Work just a little more black in this area because it should be pretty dark because it's not getting much light at all. If you got really fancy with it, you could do a little bit of cast shadow on the ground. If it's on the ground, you could do like what shadow it makes. Kind of give it that extra depth. Okay, so that's how you would do blending and shaded on a complex curved surface. So go ahead and give that a practice and a try. You just need 4 colors, pencils, a medium and a dark color of whatever you're going to use, and then a black and a white, and you can kind of blend them together. I chose neutral tones so you could see how this could work on skin or hair, or a road, or it doesn't have to be bright colors all the time. I just wanted y'all to see that this will work as long as you have the values. It doesn't really matter what the colors you use. So go ahead and give this a try. I look forward to seeing your work.